Complete Guide to Weight Loss, 5 Simple Steps. So if you're working out or driving, you can just listen. I'm going to share with you the complete guide to weight loss. If you do have access to pen and paper, you might want to grab that because might be some things you want to write down, like your goals and some things that you may want to remember. Because I'm going to share with you a lot of things that can really assist you to go to the next level. It's important that you can remember, retain what you can of it, and implement it. Take action. That's really what I wish for you, is you can take action and achieve all your fitness goals and fitness dreams. First thing to do is to have a clear, specific goal. So it's not just about weight loss, right? So it's more about what's your actual body, like how do you want it to be, right? So a simple way to measure it is body weight and body fat percent. So we're going to do a little goal setting exercise right now together. If you could wave a realistic magic wand and you could have your body, your health, your energy, any kind of way you wanted it to be between now and say a year from now, what would that look like for you? You could have your health, your energy, your body, any kind of way you wanted. Think about that. Dream. This is the time to get fascinated. Just think about what you want, how you want to feel and look. Just get crazy, right? So just dig into your goal. Think about it. What could you, if you could have it any kind of way you wanted, what would your body weight be, your body fat percent? How would you feel? What kind of clothes would you like to wear, right? But let's go into the clear, specific goal, which I really like to start you with, and is a body weight and a body fat percent. So whether you use pounds or whether you use kilos or whether you use stones, these are all different ways to measure body weight. Consider a body weight that you want to achieve and consider a body fat percent. Now, not everybody knows what body fat percent's like. What does that even look like? It's kind of hard to think about and kind of visualize. Couple key ways to consider measuring body fat percent. One is if you have a doctor, like at my doctor's office, they have a what's called a DEXA scan, and you stand on it and it scans you. And when you're done, I have a 3-page report that tells me anything from hydration to how my skin is doing, to body fat percent, to muscle, how much muscle is on the left leg versus the right. I mean, detailed, right? Now that's one way to do it. If you have access to that kind of reporting, go get a scan, so you know where you're at, right? And then you can set a goal based on some of the basics, right? Now, how do you know what's a good body fat for men or for women, right? Here's a little hack. Consider going to Google search for images, look up men's and women's body fat percentages, right? So a lot of times what it'll pull up is a ratio from a low body fat, very lean, very like super lean, like so lean you probably wouldn't even want to be that lean, all the way to really, really overweight / obese, right, to the high end. And you'll see everything in between. So like for men, you might see, say if you're a male and you're looking at it and you see on the picture, you can kind of look at the picture and say, well, I'm probably, based on the picture, you may be, just an example, 20% currently, right? So you look at the picture. Yeah, based on the picture, I'm probably 20%. I'm just being an example. And your goal may be to be, 10 to 12% body fat. So that's how you can set a goal. So set a body weight goal that you want to be and a body fat percent. Those are two really good ways to measure things. Because as you work out and get strong, you will hopefully increase muscle, which muscle weighs, right? But it's more dense. That's the thing, is what sometimes not everybody understands is muscle is more dense, right? And fat is more fluffy, right? So as you progress in your fitness journey, hopefully you're adding to your muscle mass, hopefully, even a little goes a long ways. And then hopefully you're, keeping body fat lean or you're burning body fat. That's the idea. So that's why I feel it's important to have when setting fitness goals, I believe in having a clear, specific body weight goal and a body fat percent goal. So if you just start with that, you're going to have success, right? So body weight, body fat percent. Now, I'm going to share something with you now, and I'll share it to you at the end. But if you're watching this now and you have your goal set up, so write your body weight, your body goal, okay? Now, on the front of if you're taking notes, at the front of your goal, consider writing, I am happy and grateful now that I am your body weight, your body fat goal. I'll use myself as an example. Back in May of last year, currently February, I was about 100 and 165 pounds. I was dealing with an injury, and my goal was to be at least 180 pounds, 10% body fat. So I set that goal then. So then I was currently like 165 pounds, but I had a goal of being a muscular 185, right? So it's in the future. But this is how we set our goals, and I want to share this lesson with you so you can apply it to yourself. You say, this is the framework. I am happy and grateful now that I am, and then you state your goal, right? So for myself, what I was saying is, I am happy and grateful now that I am at least 180 pounds and at or below 10% body fat. That was my affirmation. And that's what I want for your affirmation. That's how you say it. You can do the same. You can use the same tool, right? I am happy and grateful now that I am, you fill in the blank, right? That's your goal. That's power for you. I hope that you can really understand this. This is very, very powerful. And if you use it, you'll just be doing so much goodness for yourself, right? It's I am happy and grateful now that I am, and then state your goal. Now, as I progressed, as I was achieving my goals, I changed it a little bit. So I achieved that goal. So I'm currently right now about 180 pounds, 81 maybe, at about 10% body fat. But now my goal is I pushed the bar up. So now I achieved that. So now I want to go 190 pounds. So I want to add more muscle. So I'm go to 190 pounds at or below 10% body fat. That's just a goal. That's all I'm sharing with you is how to put together your fitness goal. I feel is the number one thing you can do for yourself is to have a clear, specific target, your goal target, your fitness goal target. So if I could ask you on the street, hey, what's your health and fitness goals? You should be able to just tell me just like that. You should be having it internalized, right? So I encourage you to consider that. Now, so once you have your goal and your affirmation, I am happy and grateful now that I am. You have your goal. You have a clear, specific goal. You know exactly where you're going, right? Now, the 5 simple steps are very basic, very fundamental. It's exercise, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, mindset. Your complete guide to weight loss in 5 simple steps is a good exercise program, eating healthy, getting your rest and sleep, supplementing intelligently, and having the right mindset. Let's take a look at those. Let's look at training for a moment. Imagine for a moment that we have a twin-engine airplane flying along. Let's call one engine cardiovascular engine and call one engine strength training engine, right? Now, if you're flying along on that plane, we want to have both engines powerfully flying on the airplane. I would love for you to have a cardiovascular program that you're doing and a strength training program that you're doing. Then you're optimizing it. I've seen over the years that most people love cardio and hate weights, or they love weights and hate cardio. I was a member of that club at one time. But now I have a passion for both because they both bring us different benefits. So I encourage you to have, there's lots of ways to do it, but to have a blend of cardiovascular in your program and strength training program in your routine. Any questions, please let me know. Now, I know a lot of people don't really understand the nuances of especially beginner, of a strength training program. There's lots of exercises. There's lots of machines. There's lots of ways to do exercises. There's hundreds and probably thousands of exercises overall. There's a multitude of ways to blend things together, right? But I'm going to share with you 5 proper training principles to consider when building your training program. These are 5 things to keep in mind when building out a strength training program. Proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. Let's look at proper form. Why would proper form be so important when we're building out a strength training program? Think about it. Bueller. So 2 big reasons come to mind. So we don't get hurt, so you don't get hurt, and so that we're exercising the muscles effectively. We're making the best use of our time, right? I'm sure most people have a busy schedule. You probably are pretty busy. So when you're exercising, using proper form, you're going to get more value. You're going to get out of the exercise because you're doing it correctly. How do you learn proper form? On your own, study videos. That's a great way to do it. Go to YouTube and have a childlike curiosity and fascination about learning proper form. Watch different people do exercises different ways, and make sure they're legitimate coaches, and you'll pick it up. That's why, or get personal training in your local community if you really want to take it up a notch. That's why I love training people, because you can hands-on, you can fix their elbows, you can put them in the right place, So that's another way to learn proper form. If you're hungry enough and motivated enough, you'll figure out a way to learn proper form. And one other good thing on proper form to consider is once you have your weekly routine created, then study those exercises that you're going to be having for the new week. Go over them, look at them, review them on YouTube, read the description of how to do it. Sometimes when you read descriptions of the exercises, it really teaches you some things maybe you haven't ever thought of before, like keeping your shoulders back and down or whatever, right? So proper form so that you don't get hurt and so that you exercise the muscle effectively. So proper form. Number 2 is variety. Why couldn't we just do the same workout for a year? Why would we want to change it around occasionally? Have you ever heard of a plateau? Right? So you can physically reach a point in your workouts where you're making progress, and then you hit a plateau where for maybe weeks or even months, you're stuck and you're not making any gains in your progress. And that is often my experience. That is often done or caused from a lack of variety in your routine. So how do you create variety in your routine? You change up the way you break up the workouts. There's a multitude of ways you can break up body parts together throughout the week. You can totally change the exercises, replace them for different exercises. You can change the rep range, whether it's low reps, 5 to 10, to high reps, 20 to 30. You can change the tempo of the movement, how fast you go up and down with the weights. They actually have a tempo to them. So maybe like a 3 seconds on the way down, 1 second pause, 2 seconds on the way up, or a 5 seconds on the way down, 0 at the bottom, 1 second on the way up. These are all things that are at your tool disposal if you know how to use them. So that's variety, right? So we talked about proper form, variety. Now let's look at intensity. What comes to mind when you think about weight training or training with intensity? What comes to mind? Pushing it, challenging yourself, right? Say, for example, say if we're doing tricep extensions and we're going for, 12 repetitions, 10, 11, 12, 11, 12. We barely get that 12th repetition, but we get it. What's the most beneficial part of that set? The first few reps or the last few reps? Well, it'd be the last few reps. And why would the last few reps be the most impactful part of the set? Right? Because that's where the overload is. That's where the challenge is. So as you're towards the end of the set and it's really challenging, you're pushing and you're challenging your muscles, you're overloading them. If the muscles had a voice and they could talk, they would say, whoa, I better grow back more muscle to deal with this stress that's being placed on me. So it's a cycle. See, you work out in the gym, you're breaking the muscles down. It's through your sleeping and your nutrition that the muscles grow back and overcompensate for that stress that you put on it. So we're talking about intensity right now, and as you're pushing through a challenging workout, when you get done with that challenging workout, your body knows that it must adapt and by increasing its strength and muscle to deal with the stress next time. So that's why it's important that you stimulate it, you get your nutrition in, and you get your sleep in, right? Which we're going to talk about that in a minute. But we're talking about what makes up a proper training program. Proper form, variety. We were just talking about intensity. Number 4 is proper training principles. There are many, many different training principles to consider. If you're taking notes, something like compound sets, drop sets, supersets, rest pause training, and you can do a whole search and discovery of these principles. Just search weight loss training principles or weight training principles or weight training shocking principles. You can pull up a lot of things with that. But for example, like a superset. What is a superset? A superset is when you work opposing muscle groups back to back, like you're doing a chest exercise to a pull down exercise, or a bicep exercise to a tricep exercise, opposite muscles. What is a compound set? A compound set is when you do 2 different exercises for the same muscle. So chest press, chest fly, right? 2 exercises, same muscle, right? So this is just the point of this is that there are many, many proper training principles to consider when building out your training program. So consider that when building it out. So we talked about proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles. Last but not least is consistency. Now, what comes to mind when you think about the power of consistency and the power of your fitness program? How powerful is consistency? Very powerful, right? So let's take, for example, say if you have you and say if you have a twin of you. Now, we're going to come back. We're going to do a friendly little fun fitness competition. We're going to come back here in 1 year and see who's accomplished the best results. Now you start off, you work out 4 days a week, you're eating healthy, you're getting your rest. The other person starts off that way, but then misses a workout here and there, skips quality meal here and there, eats a little more junk food, doesn't get good sleep every night. At the end of the year, who's going to have the best results? Absolutely, the consistent person. So consider the importance of consistency in a training program. So let's review. Proper form. These are what make up a proper training program. These are the 5 principles of a good training program. Proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. Let's look at nutrition. I feel there are basically 4 major ways eating affects our goals, our fitness goals. It affects our energy levels, our metabolism, our blood sugar levels, and our insulin levels. So imagine for a moment that we're trying to build a 2-story house from scratch. And imagine that we only have half the materials necessary to build the house. How far are we going to get? Only part of the way, right? Halfway, part of the way. So the foods that you and I eat on a daily basis are what builds our bodies. The foods that you eat every day, what you're planning to eat today and tomorrow and the rest of this week, the rest of this month, that's what's making you up. It builds you. Your food is what builds you. So consider that the foods that we eat every day is ultimately is what's assisting us to achieve our goals, or it's hindering us from reaching our goals. So let's look at the types of food for a moment. Imagine for a moment that we have a fireplace. And on one hand, we have a stack of oak wood. And on the other hand, we have a stack of paper. Now, not including, kindling and getting the fire started, but if you had to choose for a fuel source for your fire, if you chose between the oak wood or the paper to burn in your fireplace, which one would you pick and why? Think about it. Would you rather have oak wood? Is that going to burn longer and slower? Or would you rather have the paper? Is that going to burn long and slow, or is that going to burn fast? Of course, the oak wood is going to burn slow and last longer in our fire. Some foods burn more like the oak wood. Some foods burn more like the paper. What foods burn more like oak wood? Things like fruits and vegetables, whole grains, proteins like legumes, lentils, nuts, seeds, protein powders, good smoothies. If you have any creativity at all, you can find ways to eat a delicious, whole food, plant-based diet. And that's what I recommend for you to consider. If you want to do a little deeper dive into this, have you yet seen The Game Changers on Netflix? Or yes, Netflix. It's also on YouTube. The Game Changers. We'll consider it. It breaks down the science of everything I'm talking about here, but they go into a lot of the science of it and why it works so well on so many levels. on a simple level, on a very simple level, the high fiber content of fruits and vegetables and whole grains and legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds and plant-based protein powders, the high fiber content gives us a steady burn over time. And it doesn't allow our system to get out of whack, our insulin and our blood sugar. It keeps it stable. And that's what I wish for you and hope for you as a stable insulin and blood sugar system. Right? So that's nutrition. So those are the biggies. We talked about training, nutrition. Let's look at recovery. Over the last few years, I've had the honor of training 3 different neurologists. Plus, I've done lots of research on top of that. Not just my own experience, but seeing the research and studies of others. And everything comes back to that we should all get about at least 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep per night, with about 2 hours of REM and 2 hours of deep. Have you tried any of the measurables for sleep and fitness, like any of the trackers? If you are, I'd love to get some of your feedback on it. I'm investigating and curious. I don't have any measurables, but there is this one I am interested in. I'll let you know more about it later if I decide to do it. But sleep, no matter how you do it, if you do measure it or not, sleep has been considered by some of the biggest people in longevity and health today, all say that the number one thing almost all of us can do that will make the biggest impact on our health is getting good quality sleep every night. So I encourage you to find out what that is for you. A couple things I found that is kind of helpful is to at least not eat at least 2 hours before bedtime. That's sometimes if you're going, trying to be the best you can be, people push it back even further. But they say if you could at least do 2 hours before bedtime, that's one thing you can do. 1 hour before bedtime, consider eliminating or cutting almost all the blue light out that you can. Switch to dark mode. And then if you have access, enjoy the first 30 seconds of the morning that'll kickstart your circadian rhythm. If you do have a weird kind of shift where you don't have access to that, and maybe you get up early or whatever, they do have specific light bulbs that mimic it. I'll share more about that later. I wrote it down, but I didn't intend to cover it today. But something about getting that morning sun is a very positive thing. And then when the nighttime goes down, to try to gear down at night and have a good night's sleep, going for 2 hours of deep sleep, 2 hours of REM sleep. So we talked about training, nutrition, recovery. Now let's finish up with supplements and mindset. With supplements, I feel there are basically 2 categories of supplements: nutritional supplements and enhancement performance supplements. What is a nutritional supplement? A nutritional supplement is like a smoothie, and boy, they are so good. One of my favorites currently is a chocolate peanut butter with almond milk and ice. Blend that up, and it's just like a dessert. Another one of my favorites is I take a frozen strawberry, frozen blueberry, and blend it with a vanilla plant-based protein powder, maybe with a little olive oil, if you believe in that. Seems to be some good research on that. And then that's very yummy. Woo! So supplements, nutritional supplements, and enhancement performance supplements. There are a lot of use case for some people to consider using creatine monohydrate. It is an over-the-counter strength-enhancing supplement. You may or may not be for you. Either way is okay. But if you're into strength training and you want to increase that side, it's one to consider. That is an example of an enhancement performance supplement. So there's nutritional supplements like shakes, and then there are enhancement supplements like creatine, right? Now, last but not least is the mindset. So as you're going along, we started off this exercise with setting your goal. So you should have a clear, specific goal. If you don't have your goal, if you missed that part, I'll do it real quick right here. If you could wave a realistic magic wand and you can have your body, your health, your energy, any kind of way you wanted it to be, what would that be like for you? Decide what that is. Ideally, pick a specific body weight and a body fat percent. Body weight, body fat percent. Now we're going to frame it with the affirmation. I am happy and grateful now that I am your body weight and your body fat percent. That's your affirmation / prayer. And why is that so important? I want you to consider memorizing that and internalizing that affirmation / prayer. That's going to be big for you. I am happy and grateful now that I am your body weight, your body fat percent. That's you saying it. I'll say it in the first person. I am happy and grateful now that I am at least 190 pounds and at or below 10% body fat. You fill it in for your blank, right? Now, why is this important? As you're going along on your fitness journey, you're going to be getting resistance. You're going to be going, and it's not going to be easy some days. It's going to be pretty hard some days. But what's going to keep you at it? What's going to keep you in the game? Part of that's what's going to keep you in the game is being clear and specific on your goal. You have a goal, you have an objective, and you're heading to that objective, and nothing is going to stop you. That's the mindset. That's a powerful fitness mindset. I wish for you to go with for your mindset. That's for you to consider taking on. You're going to achieve your goal. You're going for it. You're going to take action. This affirmation sets you up for it, but you're going to plug in a fitness program, your nutrition. You're going to work out. You're going to eat. You're going to get your rest. You're going to keep it simple, and you're going to progress. What I'm saying with the mindset is you're going to hit resistance, and some days it's going to be hard, and some days you're not going to feel like it. But imagine for a moment that you're in the ocean. And in a lot of the oceans, they have this what's called a riptide, where the current is just pulling you along. Well, with fitness, imagine that you're swimming into the current. You're swimming into the current, but your daily repetitious training, nutrition, recovery, supplements, mindset, your daily repetition just cuts through it. And over time, you're just making progress, and you're making progress, and you're making progress, right? So that's one thing I want you to consider. That the mindset, that's what's going to keep you at it. And one other thing about mindset, imagine for a moment that we're building a beautiful 2-story office or resort, building a beautiful resort. And you've seen those cranes, how they have a crane outside with a person at the bottom, controlling the levers. That person in the box is like our mindset. That crane is like our body. The box controls the crane, like our minds control our body, not the other way around. You tell your body how many times you're going to exercise next week. You tell your body what sort of things you're going to eat and not eat. You tell your body how you're going to handle sleep. Our mind controls our body, not the other way around. So on your fitness journey, keep that in mind, that once you decide your program, your mind, you just do it. Don't let your mind control it, not your body. If your body doesn't feel like it, that's not enough reason not to do it. I encourage you to push through with momentum, following training, proper training, combination of strength and cardio, having a good strength training program, following proper form, variety, intensity, proper training program, consistency, building out a good nutrition program, because that affects your energy levels, your metabolism, your blood sugar levels, your insulin levels. They're all affected by how we eat, and that affects how you feel and how you burn fat and build muscle. All these things, getting your rest, 7.5 to 9 hours sleep a night, 2 hours deep, 2 hours REM, supplementing intelligently, nutritional supplements, enhancement performance supplements, and then lastly, the mindset, going forward with a strong affirmation / prayer. I am happy and grateful now that I am. You fill in the blank, your body weight, your body fat percent. I know you got this. My goal is to come at you every week here, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bring your questions. Join the journey. I have an app that's going to be released soon. If you're interested, I'm going to have a lot of free workouts. I'm organizing the workouts, so they're going to be 4 weeks based. It can be beginner based, intermediate, advanced, whether you want a 3-day-a-week program, a 4, a 5, a 6. So, and you can pick it and follow along. And I'll be right here to support you. All right. Appreciate your time and your energy. If you have any questions, bring it back here at these times, or leave a question on the post. And remember that our health is our wealth. What does it matter what earthly possessions we have? Our health. If you have health, you have a blessing. So I encourage you to remember that health is wealth. Have a blessed week, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Be look out for the shorts and the reels. And if you're on YouTube, remember this is Fitness and Finance. I'm going to be releasing some finance videos soon. And with that in mind, remember that our health is wealth. Cash flow is king. Cash is queen. And credit is freedom. I'll let you think about that. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.